Hi, it's Chris from the Trader Guy taking a look at pound Swiss. I've got the daily bar chart in front of you. First thing that I would point out is that we have had a negative session. And a lot of times I get people asking me what's going to happen today, what's going to happen the next 4 hours, whatever. I mean, I get a lot of that. But the reality of Forex and really any financial market is most of what you see is either part of a trend or it's just overall noise within a trend. And that's why it's important to mark out larger areas. And right now we are at an area that I would consider somewhat large, the 135 handle, because we have seen a couple of attempts and then eventually a breakout with a sustained move about about 350 pips or so. Then we pulled back. Pretty significant pullback over the course of the week, but when you extrapolate out, you can see it really isn't. I also have a couple moving averages on the chart. You can see 200-day moving average has attracted attention as of late. Once we broke through it, we came down to retest it. We rallied. That's pretty common. We also have the 50-day moving average. Now, these are simple moving averages. They would shift a little bit if you use exponential, but not enough to really concern yourself with. So in a setup like this, I think we have obviously an area that's going to be interesting, so I would pay attention in this area. I'll go ahead and zoom to the 4-hour chart, and you can see that we are most certainly testing 1.35. Now, the question is, where do we go from here? Now, I typically, at these large areas like this, will kind of step back a little bit. I'll go looking for an area that makes a bit of sense. Typically, in most currency pairs, 50 pips is going to be an area that causes a lot of noise, and you can see that is in fact the case here. On the downside, and on the upside, it is an area that has been resistive in the past. So with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and mark a couple of lines at 1.3550 and at 1.3450, and you can see we have a little area here. Now, one of the biggest problems that shorter term traders and newer traders have is they look at this and they go, okay, well then I need to take this and go down to 15 minutes. And the answer is no, you don't actually have to. And as I zoom out on the daily chart, you can see how this does come into play. And on the weekly, you can see how little this is as far as an area of importance. You can also extrapolate out pretty easily how this was an area of massive support in the past, and we have broken above it, and now we've come to test it. So that shows just how much importance there is to this pair at this level. So as I look at this, I zoom down to the 4-hour chart, possibly even the 1-hour chart, it really doesn't matter, and then I pay attention to these areas. If we break above 135.50, then the support has held. I'd be a buyer. If we break down below 134.50, we have cleared this area, going back to the weekly chart, and then we will probably continue to drop several handles. At this point, this is a very interesting pair to me. It does move rather quickly, so keep that in mind. I think if we're going to see support come in and pick this pair up, it's going to be right here. A lot of noise in the British pound right now against the US dollar, so keep that in mind. So pay attention to what's going on over there. If we see strength there, then it makes sense that we would rally here as well. We did fall pretty significantly during the day, but started to stabilize the last time I looked at it. But this is an area, you need to treat it independently, its own currency pair, looking at British pound strength against the dollar, perhaps in a tertiary sense. It's yet another indicator. So I have a 100 pip range with 135 being featured. We break one side or the other, I put money to work.